Using any three prescribed texts show that poverty and misery is part of human predicament. In The Old Man and the Sea, Santiago lives in a shack made of guano. He has no modern furniture. He has a table, a broken chair, a stove, dirty floor. He uses newspaper as part of his bedding and uses his trouser as pillow. He feels miserable and lonely, especially as he has lost his wife. Santiago goes for 84 days without a catch for a man whose livelihood depends on fishing. He can't make money without catching a fish. Therefore, the 84 days that he goes to sea every day and comes back empty-handed increases his poverty and misery. He sells his old cast mast to make some money to buy some basic necessities. Santiago does not feed properly. Most of what he eats comes from Manolin. At one point, he even pretends to Manolin that he has yellow rice with fish, but Manolin knows that he is telling a lie. Manolin buys food for him at the terrace and buys drinks for him. Sometimes he also receives food from the owner of the terrace. Martin also sends him daily newspapers to keep him company. Whenever he wants to go to sea in the morning, Manolin provides him with coffee, and that is the only food that he will have for the whole day while he is at sea. Everything about Santiago is old. His sails are patched. His shirts are worn out. He walks barefoot. He uses a small boat because he can't afford one with an engine like those owned by the younger fishermen. He uses rudimentary instruments like the harpoon, knives, clubs. He also fishes using lines and hooks instead of nets. In twilight of misty foliage, the people of Wanetemu have been reduced to beggars because of the exploitation of their resources by punk landers and Don Castro. With the discovery of mineral resources, farm owners had been asked to vacate their lands by the government without any compensation, thereby adding to the poverty and the misery of a people who had been struggling to survive. Don Castro's children also had all the corporations and all the resources go to their benefit, leaving children of Wanetemu to wallow in poverty and to work under them, although being sometimes more qualified than they are. Mfinyi had been contracted to capture the Gangbo family that had killed some white soldiers, and at the present moment, the family is being protected by the fawn of Feimbo in the Ndaka caves. The fawn had transformed them to cockroaches, and the villagers had transformed themselves to bees, guiding the entrance of the cave to prevent Mfinyi from entering. And when his attempt fails, the villagers decide to teach him a lesson. And the bees fly to his compound, stinking his animals, attacking his children and wives, and leaving them all in a pitiable state. He loses all his animals and all his wealth. He also realizes that the money that had been given to him was fake currency. He leaves to go back to his village a poor and miserable man. The people of Sambis are impoverished by the powerful and corrupt Sajem elites. They take away the administrative seat, thereby killing the busy market, which used to bring a lot of money in the area. Their children also refuse lucrative jobs in the church. Instead, they are given menial jobs like porters, cooks, and gatemen. Consequently, the children of Sajem behave like lords over them. It is not surprising to hear Reverend Rod Berger saying that they should give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, which is a way of saying that Sajem children are better off than children from Sambis. The American occultist invites the young granite seller, crushes her granules, and also crushes her by sexually assaulting her. When the matter is reported for justice to take its course, he uses his money to buy the justice system. The lawyer who had been handling the case comes and hands 100,000 francs to the family, which the family, out of poverty, takes because they have never seen such amount of money, and they buy a few equipments for the house. And the case dies a natural death, highlighting injustice in the society. In the swamp dwellers, Makuri's house, like most of the houses in the village, is built on stilts, infested with mosquitoes, having unpleasant noises of frogs coming from the swamp. The house also has an old swivel chair that is used for barbing. The community's livelihood depends on cultivation of crops. Nevertheless, their crops can never see the day of light because it is destroyed by flood, leaving the people empty-handed, miserable, and poor. Many young men leave the village to the city in search of greener pastures because of poverty. Some return back to their families while others don't. Awuchike has left the village many years ago. No word has been heard of him. He has not sent even money to take care of his family, despite him being a wealthy timber merchant. Iguezo also leaves the village for the city. He loses everything, comes back to the village hoping that he will rely on his harvest, only to meet a farm that is in ruins because of floods, thereby increasing his poverty. The Sala is easily enticed by Awuchike's wealth because of poverty. She cannot stay with Iguezo, who has nothing, and therefore abandons her husband to fall for her husband's brother, highlighting materialism and infidelity. The people in the north are impoverished because of climatic conditions such as drought. But when it rains, the people have a small glimmer of hope. They cultivate the land. They plant crops. The crops sprout, and everywhere is green, and people's hopes are heightened. But yet their joy is cut short. Locusts come and destroy their crops, leaving them hopeless and desperate. Many people decide to go to the city to beg for alms. But the blind beggar goes down determined to live a life of hard work, to earn a decent living. And when he comes, he also comes to meet the catastrophic scenario of Iguezo's destroyed farm. Nevertheless, he doesn't lose hope, as he tells him that he will stay behind as his bondsman to give an account. Lastly, The Kadia impoverishes the people by taking sacrificial food items and animals from them, claiming that he will offer them to the serpent as a sacrifice to protect them and their farms. Iguezo has given the sacrifices or the sacrificial gifts needed to protect his wife, to protect his matrimony, and to protect his crop, and to protect him so that when he goes to the city, he will prosper. He loses his wife, he loses everything in the city, he loses his crops on the farm due to the flood. And he confronts the Kadia and exposes him as a fraudster and a dishonest person who uses the name of the serpent to exploit the people. Consequently, the Kadia uses these sacrifices for his own personal welfare. This explains the reason why he is fat, has a bulk, while most of the people are emaciated, highlighting hypocrisy, exploitation, and abuse of power. Thank you for watching.